again, thank you all for coming. My name is Sharon Bauer. I am running for mayor of Jamaica Beach. I am a chemical engineering graduate from Texas A&M University. Anyway, yes. I spent the majority of my career with ConocoPhillips, a major oil and gas company. Started out, kind of as a rank and file process engineer, and then worked my way up. So held various positions in operations management, engineering management. I was known to be sent around the world for the challenging locations. So challenges don't scare me, and I think we might have one here in front of us. But I also had lots of experience with budgets, planning, and planning for me meant I understood how much was in the ground, how much we had to get out of the ground, all the equipment we needed to get it all the way to a dollar sign. And I had to look at how what came out of the ground changed over the projection of the life of that reservoir underground and get it to production. So working long-range plans, knowing how to incorporate capital expenditures at the right time, and knowing how to resource that plan across time is something that I've had a lot of experience with in different places, both domestically and across the globe. I finished up my career as Director of Process Safety, which involved me putting together all of the necessary protocols and procedures to make sure that at each and one of our facilities we were safe, that we didn't spill a drop or blow people up. So the compliance and adherence to the law requirements of running a city, while I don't know the details that's required for the city, I'm learning pretty quickly though, and with a bunch of great researchers helping me, I've had a lot of experience with that. So as your mayor, one of the things that I think we all sense and know we need to fix is the divisiveness in the city. So I feel that an open government that's equitable and fair and increased communication, increased citizen involvement. So those are going to be priorities. Setting up more town halls where we have interactive discussions. I mean, we're a town of 1,000 homes, 700 and something registered voters. And there's no reason that we can't all have a much more active voice in our community. And I think that will go a long way to solving some of the current issues we're having. The other thing that I see as a priority is our budget and our fiscal management systems. So I was involved in the budget last year. It was eye-opening. We started out with about close to a $300,000 excess predicted. Once I fixed everything, we were $60,000 in the hole. So we fixed everything and got it on track, but the other thing I realized is that we have no accountability for our budget line items. So when you go to try to see where you're at on the budget, you have no idea you only know what dollars have gone out the door to date. You don't know what you've committed to spend that year, nor what you need to spend in the rest of the year to meet the city's needs. So those things need to be fixed. And then also just a much better, predictive system in our budget. So right now, when we look at our struggling infrastructure, I don't know where we're at because our budget processes don't make those transparent. And that's the other thing that's going to be a priority. And we can't fix the infrastructure until we understand our budget. And that's why budget is above infrastructure. But infrastructure is our number one issue and concern in the city. From September till February, we spent $240,000 on water line repairs. Our budget for that was $100,000. So we're already off there. I don't know if you guys noticed all the pump trucks running back and forth all week. Last weekend, the sewer plant was down. So the sewer plant's not been maintained. That's a priority. So one of the very first things I'm going to do out the door is in June, we're going to have a goal setting strategy. I've got a great lady to come volunteer to do that session, and we're going to map out what we need to do for 5 years, and then we're going to resource and cost estimate that plan so that we can kick off what we need to do for our water lines, and find out the optimum way to do it. I don't know the answer to that right now. I have lots of ideas, and I have lots of great people helping me with those ideas, but it is a priority. And then the other thing that's been brought up is, and I know this is going to be said again from the other candidates, a beach user fee. So last year there was an overwhelming support from a survey, but it needs a lot more polishing, a lot more citizen input and involvement in deciding if that's the way we want to go, and then what's the best way to implement a beach user fee. But I know we took a drive down to the beach today, and as we're driving back, my husband goes, "Man, a lot of dollars sitting there that we're not capturing." As our volunteers were out on the beach cleaning it this morning. So short-term rentals are another big issue, of course. And while our hands are tied with what we can do from an ordinance perspective, because whatever we put in place for a short-term rental, we have to also make that same ordinance apply to every other home in the neighborhood. But we can still do things. So with the new police chief that hopefully will be more agreeable than the last one on documenting service calls and keeping track of all that information, then when we have a problematic short-term rental, we can seek legal action against that individual short-term homeowner and have his permit pulled. So that's not easy to do, but it can be done with the right approach and the right prioritization. And then the other thing that's a priority for me is to get a good city administrator. So Sean Hutchison, our previous city administrator, retired at the end of 19, and since then it's been kind of a roller coaster up there. And not that we don't have qualified people working, we do, but nobody's in charge. And so the day-to-day operation of the city is split between 3 people. And I don't know how many of you ever had the pleasure of working in a situation like that. It's kind of nice to have one boss instead of 3. And so I would like to install a city administrator. And of course, all the staffing issues have to be worked in budget. And like I said, we've lost 2 people, but we have great staff up there now, and the plan would be to try to work everybody in as budget allows. And I think I'm probably way over my time. So each of us is going to do our introduction and tell about ourselves, and then we're going to go to the questions. So Ms. Jones, Alderman Jones, I believe you're next.
Thank you, Sharon. Can you see why, when I found and met Sharon, why I felt that she could help us with our problems with the city? Because she has a way of thinking that, and I've just always been impressed with her. I only met her about a year ago, but it was like, I think this woman's got it. My name's Lorraine Jones. My friends call me Taz, and so I don't want all of you to call me Taz. I believe in transparency, truth, freedom of speech, accountability, and merit. I want to start off with something this morning. I went to Wikipoa this morning, and at that meeting, Marie Robb is an alderman for the city of Galveston, and she stated that City Council is working on a plan to make all of the West End beach pockets paid parking and no cars allowed on beaches. So if this works out for them, we will be the only beach on the west end of the island that will have cars on the beach. So just keep that in mind. Nothing's been done, but that's where they're moving. I've always worked towards more transparency from the city for the citizens of Jamaica Beach. This is one reason why I've taken videos of city council meetings since 2018. There are 88 videos on YouTube. So you don't have to be on Facebook to have access to those videos. I started paying attention to city council meetings in 2010 and just watched for a long time. I was also on the park board for 7 or 8 years, and so I've been involved and served. And since I live right across the street, it was easy. But I like videos because then that way there's no misunderstanding of what's been said. There's and I like documents, and I like the words to back it up. I don't like hearsay, because that can get mixed up. So let's start with the elephant in the room. I'm sure everybody heard about voting in Jamaica Beach. Okay? And but let me say, what I said on social media about voting was not illegal. I replied to a social media post that I was told. I replied to a social media post with what I was told by the Galveston County Registrar's Office. The Secretary of State's office clarified even further voter information, and many who choose Jamaica Beach as their home can now decide to register to vote here. Thanks to Pam Jocelyn, who is, you're my hero. It is a personal choice now for where you decide to call home. I'm going to take this as a win. As hard as it was, I'm going to take it as a win. And I need to remind everyone that even the homeless choose where they call home, and they can vote. And if you'd like to see what I said in its entirety, I'm a document person, and I bought a little folder back there. So you can see what I said, see what was taught, and see the Secretary of State's information. I'm ready to show you. This is hard, guys. Another wild rumor that needs to be cleared up is, okay, over a year ago I was told by the city secretary that the mayor wanted all documents to be acquired with public information requests, PIRs or ORRs. And in the past year there was 125 public information requests in total. I made 19 of those requests. But someone inferred that it was closer to 200. But I made 19. And it's all in the agenda packets on the very last page. Let me also explain. Last September, I asked Chief Garrity for a copy of his resume and his T-call records. And I'll share his response, which I have in an email for you. Quote, per Mayor Morris, he would like all open record requests to go through Debbie. So actually, I had no other choice to acquire documents except only with public information requests. I don't have a problem with this actually, because getting documents that way, there's nothing, I know that it's going to be public. So I can take it and explain it to you, because lots of times you have come to me and said, what is up with this? And so I go get the information for you. And I've lots of times put it on social media. And that way, because there's not just you that's asked, but 2 other people probably have had the same question. When the city secretary couldn't find 2018 and 2019 financial audits for the city, I had, it was an easy solution. I had copies of it from public information requests that I had requested earlier. So what is on the city website now for the financial audit is because I had it. The bigger question is, why doesn't the city have a copy of it? And why are we missing other critical documents? I don't have an answer. There should be very little that is confidential or secret with an open government. But I've been blocked from learning much about the operations of the city. I have a full-time job taking care of Jay. He had a stroke about 4 years ago, so that's my first priority, is to make sure. But of course, I left him at UTMB and said, honey, I have city council in an hour. And he's like, "I know, baby girl, bye-bye." But I just don't have time to go and visit with city employees just to hang out. And I seldom go to City Hall. And the things that I want to do, I want to hire, like she does, I want to hire an experienced city administrator. I called Sean Hutchinson and thanked him for all that he did for us about a year ago, because I realized how valuable he really was to our city. So that's a first priority. We need to also create a 5-year, a 10-year, and a 20-year plan for our city. We've got to look towards setting aside money for the future and maintaining our city, so we're not in this situation again for the next generation. I want to separate employee salaries, hot federal grants, so they're more transparent and easier to keep track of. Increase citizen input. Look at you guys, you're right here. And so many people have helped out already with organizing this event. People want to help our city. That's been evident. But I'd like to organize a committee to write policies and procedures, update personnel policies, job descriptions, and a code of ethics. The city has worked on some of these for 6 years. And with all of you smart people, I think we could organize a few committees, and within a few months, have something that we could present to council, and it would be hopefully something that could get passed. And I realize there's a lot more people in this room that are a lot smarter than I am. I spent hundreds of hours working on this, along with some of my close friends. But when we realized that it probably would never make it to the agenda, we just kind of stopped. And but I've tried to bring solutions to council, but in this last 2 years, only one of my solutions has been brought to council. I'd like to also create an advisory board to oversee city's expenses. So that way we have more eyes that are keeping an eye on how the use of city money. Raise your hand if you'd like to volunteer for one of these kinds of committees. Mayor, there's your first committee. Thank you. I still want to continue Stars for Troops on first responders. This has been a marvelous thing that you've helped me with it. Lisa, you've been awesome. And we've shared almost 4,500 stars. These are stars that are a token of appreciation to our first responders and our military. It's a wonderful thing to do. I'm a document person. I want more information readily available on the city website. It would be so much easier if we could just go to the city website, see current ordinances. The last 2 years of ordinances are inside the agenda packets. They're not even available on the city website without going and hunting for them. I'd like to use the website to inform, educate, provide easy access, and clearly explain policies. Do you guys understand what the beach parking plan is? Okay, right there. We don't understand, there's not a clear thing that says 1, 2, 3. I want to see the 2020, the 2021, and 2022 annual financial audits on the city website. Contrary to Texas law, these have not been completed. I'd like to see the creation of an inventory for city equipment and to see have a city employee accountable for those items. When it comes to our water issues, I'm with her. I don't have a solution, but I think if we all get together, that we could investigate bonds but we have to have some kind of facts of what it's going to cost us before we can start looking for paying for it. What is it going to cost? Again, at the meeting this morning, it was over the water that we buy from the water authority, I forget their name. And they were saying that Galveston, when they first started fixing their broken pipes, that 50% of their water that they were buying from the water authority was being wasted because of broken pipes. They have really cracked down on, and fixed a bunch of those pipes. And it's cut down their expenses almost in half. Oh, she says, okay, just really, I'm just gonna go right here. I just need to mention that there is some dysfunction of the current administration by watching city council videos, but it's been on full display with just trying to organize this. There's no wonder that the city has a huge rollover with employees. The past few years, we have lost 10 city employees. I've lived here for 23 years. I've attended city council meetings. I've not missed one meeting since 2018. My goal has been to help people understand what City Hall is doing. My name is Lorraine Jones. My friends call me Taz. I'll continue to fight for information, transparency, truth, freedom of speech, accountability, and merit. I believe deep in my heart these ideals still exist, and I'm running for alderman to revive them. Thank you.
Hey, it's so good to be here, and it's good to see you here. It's a chance to talk with you. I have a different speech.
You'll hold that mic a little closer.
Closer to me? Is that
Yeah,
better?
it's not real comfortable to do that, but you have to.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Cool. This is a different type of speech, but I want to tell you a little bit about ourselves. Peggy and I chose to retire here. Excuse me. We chose to retire here. We bought our lot 16 years ago and built our home and moved in right after I was involved in a community before I ran for city council. I designed and built the mailbox covers of Buccaneer for free, funded by JBIC. I was recruited by our city manager, John Brick, and served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 4 years. I have been your alderman for 1 year and 10 months, and I've never missed a meeting. I was raised in the Methodist Church. My father worked for the West Virginia Pulp and Paper Mill. My mother was active in the church in our community and in the city of Charleston. I grew up in North Charleston, South Carolina, a really good community. Dorchester Terrace was mostly blue collar, developed by returning World War II veterans. I played high school football and baseball. I cut lines after school. My shop teacher also taught drafting. He was a good teacher, and I got hooked on drafting. My qualifications. After high school, I went to Murray Vocational School in Charleston at night and studied engineering design for 2 years. When I graduated, I was hired by Joseph Mikula to draw up an expansion to his wool combing plant in Jamestown, South Carolina. From there, I made my career in engineering and project management. I was working for General Electric in Greenville, South Carolina as a design supervisor and going to the University of South Carolina at night when Daniel Construction recruited me. Into their management training program. I was Daniel, later flew Daniel for 25 years. I went out on my own the last years of my career as a consultant to Southtown Cement, El Paso Merchant Energy, and the Hess Hall Company, managing the engineering and construction of major large projects, major capital projects. That's enough about me. The most pressing question seems to be how to mend the division in our city and move on. These are tough questions, but they have to be addressed. I endorse Sharon Bowers as mayor of our city because she has the background, management ability, and a good heart, and will be able to address some of these things right up front. Before Mayor Morris, our city operated as a general law city with a city manager form of government. This form of government has proven by far the best for cities like ours. There are only a handful of cities in the state that operate under the strong mayor concept of city management. Basically, it's been a failure. With this election, we have the opportunity to make a fresh start. We need to return to the city manager form of government. With the city manager form of government, the city manager manages the city reporting to the mayor, who functions as a managing partner. The city council, the governing body, monitors the city budget, policy procedures, and approves ordinances, resolutions, and procurement of outside services. Basically, we're a steering committee. A qualified, experienced city manager will provide the day-to-day stability needed for us to be successful moving forward. The mayor and aldermen are elected, unpaid people, volunteers. A city manager is a paid professional that is in the office leading the city every day. The go-to person that lends stability and continuity to our staff. If we take this opportunity, we do this, we will meaningfully begin to mend the division in our community. I need to answer the question of why I ran for alderman the first time. It was all about the overcrowding and unimaginable conditions at the beach. I wanted to help with this and get our beach back. Working with the GLO, I developed and presented a plan to cancel to reduce overcrowding. It was not received favorably by the mayor or council. I still believe in the plan. And I think developed further by a citizen committee, it is best for the beach. And that's what we need. We need more, we have a lot of things. We divide them up. We've got so many experienced citizens here with great backgrounds. We can form committees and work to get these things lined out professionally. So why am I running again? Because I've learned a lot on city council and would like to use the experience and knowledge I've gained to help our city move forward and make the best use of the opportunities ahead. As far as things like SPRs, I champion the SDR ordinance we have now. Unfortunately, it was dumbed down by the city manager, interim city manager we had in Clay. It was dumbed down. We left out a lot of good stuff. I'd like to see us resurrect that and let's get it back in there. Some of the things like requiring these SDR owners to post the rules right up on the side of the wall so the renters can see it. There's no question. Establishing the number of people that can reasonably occupy these places. Things of that nature. I don't mind and will gladly enter into any of those discussions because we need to do it. So why I'm running again? Basically, I want us to be the same type of community I grew up in. Thank you, guys.
Okay, Cindy, I think you're on.